readily. Hello, everyone. On behalf of Hyderabad FC and Maidaan, it gives me immense pleasure in welcoming all of you to this virtual event on what I'm sure is a very beautiful evening, particularly if you're in Mumbai. Can't really be complaining, can we? Now, back on 4th of September, we announced a historic partnership between Hyderabad Football Club and the upcoming movie, Maidaan, that I'm sure all of you have heard about. It was a significant day in the history of Indian football. 59 years ago, on the 4th of September, India won its last and most historic gold medal at the Asian Games in Jakarta. A day that serves as a beautiful reminder of the glorious victory of a team that went against absolutely all odds to put India on the world map in football. And now, 59 years and 12 days later, we're here to bring together two very important aspects of Indian culture: cinema and sport. Now, Indian cinema is one of the oldest world cinemas and the largest in terms of output. Its evolution has been quite parallel to that of its counterpart in the West. Indian cinema has influenced the youth of this country from generations and continues to play a pivotal role in shaping the basic fabric that can drive positive change in evolving the whole mindset of people. Now, the past few years have seen quite a few sports biopics in Indian film industry, while there are many more in the pipeline, which is great news for all of our sports fans, isn't it? It more than hints towards the fact that there is a massive audience that's drawn to such subjects. Now, sports biopics are an ode to those who have braved the odds, overcome the challenges in achieving laurels for the country and, of course, for themselves. There's many a story of guts and glory. There's plenty of drama before intermission, culminating in that significant milestone achievement. Now, back in the day, the industry might have felt a little differently about subjects like these or films. But today, with more such movies finding acceptance, myths have been broken and stereotypes completely shattered. India has indeed woken up to its treasure of cinematic sports stories, and as a result, been able to acknowledge, appreciate, and more importantly, celebrate many a forgotten hero who have in their time set an unshakable foundation for a sport they represented. Now, the recent performance of India in the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics, be it the resurgence of the Indian hockey team or the first gold in track and field event for over a century, as well as the 19-medal tally by our para-athletes, has paved the way for the new generation to look at sports in a completely different way and a more professional way, it's got to be said. It has also motivated several sports federations to focus more on the athletes' welfare that can bring more glory to the country at a world stage. And speaking of sports, the football club has emerged from our very own Deccan region in a very short span of time with a focus on giving India's youth a serious platform. Led by co-owner Varun Tripuraneni, Hyderabad FC, a top football club from the Deccan region, has been initiated with a promise to bring back the lost glory. We'll touch upon that as time goes along. Once known for leading India into its golden era of football, Hyderabad was famously known as the fountain of sporting talent in the country. At least 15 years after independence, there wasn't another city that had more Olympians and internationals in one sport than the city of Nizams. That's quite incredible, isn't it? But the wheels of time have turned once again, and the yellow sunrise has just begun to burst through that darkness. And just like the earlier times, Hyderabad FC now contributes talented young players that represented India at the highest level. The event is to mark the beginning of a unique partnership between Hyderabad FC and a film that's been in the news right from its inception. The film brings together some of the best talent in Indian cinema, most of them national award winners. I'm proud to announce this association of the upcoming film Maidaan, a film that will bring to the world the amazing true story of those forgotten heroes who brought glory to India on the global stage. The story of the Indian football team that won a gold medal in the 1962 games, coached by the great Sri Syed Abdul Rahim. Maidaan is produced by one of the most senior leaders in the Indian film industry, Mr. Boni Kapoor, in association with Fresh Lime Films' Mr. Akash Chawla and Mr. Arunava Joy Sen Gupta, who won the National Award this year for the best film on a social topic. Now, this untold true story is helmed by the amazingly talented National Award winning director, Mr. Amit Sharma. And to top it all, the mega star who's playing the main lead of the film is someone who needs absolutely no introduction. He has done it all, and yet his hunger to bring great stories that make a difference seems to be only increasing from the Maidaan upwards. Right, so the mega superstar, Mr. Ajay Devgan, is essaying the role of the father of Indian football for many, Mr. Syed Abdul Rahim. The coming together of Hyderabad FC and Maidaan is to ensure that India's glorious past in the game reaches out to everyone, you, me, and everybody else watching this and beyond, and encourage the youth to pick up the sport and continue its glorious legacy.
1930 से 1948 में बिना जूते के खेलने वाली एक छोटी सी टीम अचानक 1955 से 1962 के बीच इतनी कैसे बदल गई कि कुछ ही सालों में जापान और साउथ कोरिया को हराकर 2 अंतर्राष्ट्रीय गोल्ड मेडल्स जीत लिए। भारत को एक छोटी मोटी टीम से अंतर्राष्ट्रीय टीम बनाने में भारतीय फुटबॉल कोच सैयद अब्दुल रहीम का बहुत बड़ा योगदान रहा।
We have seen a lot of movies getting made on cricket, on kabaddi, on many other sports, but there was no movie on football. The most inspiring part was the story of Rahim Saab, Mr. Syed Abdul Rahim.
He has left his mark not just in India but on the world football. His methods were unique, and from what we know, they have inspired generations that followed.
It's a fantastic feeling for us at Hyderabad FC to be partnering with the movie Maidaan. The movie is about the great Rahim Saab, who comes from this very land where we are trying to build on the foundation he laid and establish a new era of footballing glory.
I'm happy that Hyderabad FC is partnering with Maidaan to promote football at the grassroots level. What they have achieved in 2 years is commendable.
In a short span, they have already managed to carve out an identity, and they are trying to get back the glory days of Hyderabad football.
Mr. Rahim always believed in picking up young blood, new talent, and nurture them and make them into amazing players. And that's what Hyderabad FC is also doing. It's outstanding.
This announcement is just the beginning, and together with the Maidaan team, we plan to follow this up with loads of activities on ground level in the upcoming months.
I'm very excited about this partnership between Maidaan and Hyderabad FC. Because Maidaan is all about football and Hyderabad FC is doing really well.
Our major aim from this partnership is to provide kids and youngsters in the city more impetus to help them pick football as a career option at a young age.
This partnership will strengthen our purpose to make Maidaan a moment that will reach gullies, schools and colleges and inspire youngsters to strive for India's next Olympic glory.
The message is clear. Follow the sport, get to the ground and make the club a part of your life. The idea is to encourage the next generation to get out of their homes and come to the ground to play.
Like cricket is a religion in India, I hope, sincerely hope, football also becomes a religion in India too.
Amen to what Boniji just said there towards the end of that video. Now, my piece is over. With great joy, I'd like to introduce to you my panel for today. Birthday boy, Mr. Varun Tripuraneni joins us, the co-owner of Hyderabad FC, smiling away. Mr. Boni Kapoor, the producer of Maidaan. Mr. Amit Sharma, the director of Maidaan. Mr. Akash Chawla, the producer of Maidaan. And Mr. Arunava Joy Sen Gupta, the producer of Maidaan. We'll just call him Joy for the rest of the evening now, as he's already reliably informed me before this event began. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your company, but I'll jump straight to the birthday boy first. Of course, apart from the fact that it's your special day, Varun, it's obviously a very special occasion as well, with this partnership coming together with the film Maidaan. But I'd like to ask you, Varun, how and why did you choose Hyderabad, first of all, for establishing the club that's slowly becoming a force in the Hero ISL?
Thank you, Anand. It's a great day for all of us, great day for Hyderabad football and Indian football. For us, Hyderabad was sort of an automatic choice. When we were looking at setting up a football club. I think the history of the sport in the region, football is deep rooted into the city of Hyderabad. The legacy of the sport, that's what the partnership is all about. The glory years of Indian football, the 50s and 60s were dominated by players from this region, and thanks to Coach Rahim. And in general, there is great sporting culture in the region, not just football. If you compare with the other cities, I think it's one of the few cities which has a franchise or a club in pretty much all the top leagues in the country. We've also seen emergence of other sports like tennis, kabaddi, badminton, thanks to the Palela Gopichand Badminton Academy in Hyderabad. So what we've seen is there's a great sporting culture in the city, and it was sort of an automatic choice for us. And we're just a 2-year-old club at the moment. I think we made rapid strides in the last 12 to 15 months, and we hope to kick on from here and make it an even more memorable season, this upcoming one and beyond.
Fantastic stuff, Varun. Now we'll wait for Boniji to join us back on this, but I'll come to the director extraordinaire and Amit Sharma, who's been patiently waiting for his turn. But Amit, first up, and the easy one really, how did the idea of making a film on this subject come about for somebody like you?
So, frankly, this subject was given to me by Mr. Boni Kapoor. Because I played football in my childhood, but I never thought of making a film on football. But I always wanted to make a sports film. So one day, Mr. Boni Kapoor, he just called me and he said that there's this film and I really want to do it. And I said, wow, I always wanted to do a sports film, and a sports which football is, which is full of action. इससे better और क्या होगा? So I think I said yes, I want to make this film. And what inspired me to make this film was the story of Mr. Saeed Abdul Rahim, our coach from 50s to 1962. So his story really inspired me. I was like, I really didn't know that India was so good in football. The golden era of Indian football was at the time when he was the coach of Indian football team. So that really inspired me. That whole the emotion of what he used to think, the way he used to take football so seriously, the way we take cricket these days. So I think that's the best part of the story, Maidaan, and his life, what he did for our country, for football.
Amit, since you mentioned the word football, what position did you play when you were picking up the sport as a child?
Oh, when I was a kid, I used to do goalkeeping, and I used to come and score a goal also.
Okay, fantastic stuff. But
I was more of a cricketer than footballer. But now I know everything about football. I can speak to even Messi.
Obviously, the experience of Maidaan would have helped you a great deal in all of this as well. I've got two more gentlemen on this call with me at the moment as we wait for Boniji to join back. I'll come to Akash first. Akash and Joy are together, as you can see in the same screen. I can see the black lady shining just behind you as well, which is absolutely fantastic. But Akash, do topics like these really stir the conversations in the minds of the youth, you think? Because it is a very old topic, yet very relevant to what Indian football still stands for.
So let me answer it this way, Anand, that the first time that we went to actually narrate the film to Ajay sir, and he said that, while I am here, but you are here for a sports film, so let me have my 21-year-old nephew by my side, because he is somebody who really, thinks that football is the be-all and end-all of sports, and he worships football. And if he likes the film and if he understands the heroes of this film, then it would be great, because I know then it would resonate with every age group. And by the time that the narration got over, Dani said the fact, who's his nephew, he said the fact that, listen, guys, I know about Messi, I know about Pele, I know about all the current footballers from various countries. But today I feel ashamed to understand the fact that I didn't know about these great gentlemen who gave such a lot of glory to India. And I think that that's really where the deal between us and Ajay sir was sealed. And I think that's a very clear example of how somebody, who's so into a particular given sport, somebody who thinks that he's so well versed with that particular sport, also today doesn't really know about these people, these unsung heroes, who were a part of this Indian history. So yes, to answer your question, I think we've seen it multiple times now during the research and making of this particular film, that this film, hopefully, and the journey of all these great players and obviously the coach, Syed Abdul Rahim Saab, would inspire, hopefully, many millions of people within India and worldwide, hopefully.
Thanks for that, Akash. Now, unlike Amit, whose heart is still split a little bit between cricket and football, there is no doubting that Joy is completely leaning towards football, and he has for the entirety of his life. It's a great pleasure to have you with us, Joy. But almost the same question as what I asked Akash at the moment. But do you see this as an opportunity, as building youth interest in the game?
So I think in every sphere of life you need some kind of inspiration, right, or a hero. I think a story like Maidaan should create that for people who are interested in soccer. Look, India has a huge soccer base because European football, Latin American football, the way we follow that is huge. It's just the Indian football that has been lacking in their mind. With ISL, a lot is happening today, but I think a story like this will get more and more people inspired to take on the sport and and make it a huge fanfare, not only in places like Kolkata and Goa, but across the country.
Excellent. I can see that Boni ji has joined us. Can I still see him? I'm struggling a little bit with technology when it's trying to connect to Boni sir. Boni sir, can you hear me okay? This is Anand.
I can.
Excellent. Finally, we have your company where these gentlemen have had their say, but I'd like to get you in on the conversation as well. Obviously, a historic partnership in so many ways between Hyderabad Football Club and Maidaan, the film. But for you, how did the idea of this, making a film on this subject come about, Boniji?
Well, you see, I remember as children, me and Anil, we both were football fanatics. We used to stay in a locality where football was the religion, as cricket is today. We used to live in Tilak Nagar, and there was a big, huge ground where teams from different areas of Bombay would come and play football. And while we were just watching them, and during our free time, we also used to indulge in this game. And I remember in that locality, me and Anil were the only two youngsters who were fortunate to have chappals. And one pair of chappal of mine would be the goalpost for one end. The other end would be Anil's two slippers. Invariably, we used to get home without the slippers. And we used to go crazy. The clothes used to be dirty. We used to fall. We used to, probably be, pushed towards the dirty part of the ground, and people used to fall. We used to fall down. So our entire youth has been the childhood was probably more of football, less of cricket. Later, of course, cricket took over, but we still have memories of those football days. And so when Akash and Joy came with this seed, this idea that this is something which should be told, and I too got excited about it, and that's how we all got together to do this ambitious film. And finally, probably by the end of I think this was sometime in 2018, Akash,
Yes, sir.
Interruptions. Well, probably around the 2018, we got together and we decided that we should make this film. We approached Ajay, and he got onto the project. That's how we all got started. And the journey has been very exciting, although we've had some uneventful halts, but that's something which everybody's gone through during this period. But we are looking forward, and we are quite very, very excited about the project. We've done almost about 70-80% of the film, and what we've seen so far is absolutely exciting.
Excellent stuff, Boniji, and obviously the fight back comes after the great after some good setbacks as well. So we're awaiting, that final phase in which the film finds itself right now, and the release that will follow. But Amit, you're still with us. I know you don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to quickly touch upon the fact that a lot of youngsters these days follow European football clubs, players. But how much, you mentioned the great Syed Abdul Rahim. How much can the youngsters take inspiration from our heroes also, who are very much a part of your film, the likes of P.K. Banerjee or Chunni Goswami or Tulsidas Balram, who will play center stage in the story that you're trying to tell? You're on mute, Amit. Amit, if you could just unmute yourself, please.
Sorry, yeah. So I'll start by saying that, the way people love cricket in this country, there are parts of India, like, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Bangalore, not Bangalore, sorry, Goa, Kerala, and now Hyderabad also, where people love football, and the thing is that people still don't know these legends, like how we know cricket legends. We do not know these legends. So that's the most important thing, that people should get to know about the golden era of Indian football, the kind of achievements we had in football in early 50s till 1962. So that's the most important thing, that that people should know the history of football and indulge into this sport also.
And Varun, just going back,
and now we are anyways seeing that so a lot youngsters are following football, but how much do they know of Indian football? That's the main thing, and that's what we will show in our film Maidaan.
How much they know about the glorious past of the Indian football? And it would be our endeavor to get that glory out on screen for everybody to see. All the youngsters today are into football big time. I know my son, who's more keen on watching football matches on TV than cricket. So I'm sure there are many like him who are keen followers of football played all over the world. So this film probably will trigger the interest maybe down in the B centers, C centers, and all these centers, because the Hindi films are big. Films on the whole are big influences, and I hope we succeed in doing that.
Absolutely, and one of the key centers, not the B, not the C, but the A center for Indian football is now Hyderabad as well. And the new team that's come up over there, Hyderabad FC, certainly flying the flag high for the Deccan region.
No offense meant for Hyderabad or Kolkata or Goa. No offense meant for Hyderabad, Kolkata, or Goa, any other football-playing cities. What I meant was probably it will go down all the way. The full country probably will get to see it and admire the past heroes, and probably get into the habit of playing football, watching football, and pushing football as one of the prime games in the country.
Certainly, which takes me back to the partnership, Varun. And what is the objective of this unique partnership for you, and in what promises to be a groundbreaking film for all of us?
I think for us, the major focus is on the grassroots. If you see, last season we had a very young team, and again, just going forward, we want to build homegrown talent, and we want to see a lot of youngsters coming through the ranks, and a lot of players from Hyderabad graduating to the first team. And we want to encourage as many kids to pick up the sport at a very young age. We all know that Hyderabad has a rich legacy of football, and through this movie, we would also want the younger generations to know about our history and get inspired by the rich history of the sport in the region. And we hope that through this partnership with Maidaan, we can reach out to a wider audience and make them part of a greater family.
And Boniji, similarly for you, your expectations from this association with the Hyderabad FC, who are doing ever so well in Indian football now?
Well, as Varun spoke about, I have the same feelings, and I feel, it besides the game, the resilience of in Syed Abdul Rahim to take it to a level where even the FIFA president then had said India is like the Brazil of Asia. In fact, he had come to the green room to talk about how good the team was and how good the entire coaching system was, and the kind of system that he has put in place. 4-2-4. This is what this probably was something which Saeed Abdul Rahim brought into the game, and probably that was picked up by the South American teams. This is my information. I could be wrong. Akash, correct me on this because you are far more. Or Joy, correct me on this.
Sir, you are absolutely right on this.
Okay, thank God for it.
No, there were a lot of things what Mr. Rahim used to practice with his players, which later on, it was picked up by some European coaches also, and he was spoken in that fraternity a lot. Like Bojiji said, that time FIFA chief, Mr. Stanley Rouse, he actually came and he spoke to him and he invited him to England to come and be in the team of his team where he will be coaching the coaches, at that time. So Mr. Rahim was a legend. So in fact, in India at that time we did not have those many सिर्फ किताबें पढ़ के वो अपने खुद के ideas बना के, and he used to practice that with the players in with every team, whether it was domestic or international games. So he was the most successful coach of ours.
Not to forget, basically he was a psychologist. He was a psychologist professor, and that's how he probably knew the psyche of each and every player that he picked up. In fact, when I talk of resilience, you see, it is the same coach, Saeed Abdul Rahim and his team, when they defeated Australia in Melbourne, in the Melbourne Olympics. The Australian coach and the players they mocked the Indian team. This was just a fluke win. And it was the coach who was ready for a rematch. And they played the rematch and they won the rematch too. So this was the positivity of that team, thanks to the coach that they had, Saeed Abdul Rahim.
And just to add to that,
am I right on this?
Yes, sir. And just to add to it, it's not all because of fluke or that he just had a great team. The same team under other coaches didn't perform so well. We talk about tiki-taka right now, right? Because Spain brought tiki-taka. Actually, tiki-taka was played by the Indian team at that point in time. In the 1962 Asian Games, India actually played the tiki-taka. That, obviously it was not called tiki-taka then, but that's the kind of that's a advanced way of that he used to make the Indian team play.
And remember,
Amazing,
this
isn't
is
it?
at a time when there was no internet. So how he would have gotten about with regards to all these strategies, etc. And yet the world doesn't know about him. In fact, the interesting thing is that when we started this film, if you would have Googled Mr. Rahim's name, the Wikipedia page actually showed a wrong picture. So, it's an irony that in a country where such a legend has been born, of a sport which is probably one of the most played game in the world, perhaps, we still did not even have the right picture of the gentleman who shaped that entire game for our country.
And actually, it is said that he passed 6 months after they won the Asian Games gold. The India post that actually nothing happened to the Indian team from our international perspective. Though we had the same players playing for the team.
Yeah, and essaying the role of Sri Saeed Abdul Rahim will be Ajay Devgan, who may not be with us here today, but when we caught up with him a little while earlier, this is what he had to say.
Like in many homes across India, in my home too, my young nephew is a fan of Messi, Ronaldo and Neymar. When Akash, Joy, Saibar and Ritesh came to me with Maidaan, I made my nephew sit through the narration because I wanted to see how the young generation would react to it. When he heard the story of Maidaan and what this Indian football team achieved on 4th September 1962, he insisted that I do this film because it's a story that every Indian must know. Like a medal in Olympics brings glory and motivates lakhs of Indians to dream of many more. We hope that Maidaan will pave the way for the next P.K. Banerjee, Chunni Goswami, Tulsidas Balram and others for the wonderful team. I had the privilege of meeting some of these Indian football legends during the shoot. I have seen the reverence that they had for their coach, Saeed Abdul Rahim, the man who shaped these amazing players, the man who created history and made India proud. It's sad that India has forgotten Rahim sir. I'm happy that Hyderabad FC is partnering with Maidaan to promote football at the grassroots level. What they have achieved in 2 years is commendable. This partnership will strengthen our purpose to make Maidaan a moment that will reach gullies, schools and colleges and inspire youngsters to strive for India's next Olympic glory.
It's amazing. The one thing that unites all of us who are on this event today is the passion that oozes out every time you talk about Indian football, its glorious past, and that sheer desire to bring it back to its feet. And I know Amit doesn't have a lot of time left, so I'll jump straight to some of the media questions that have come in already. So Amit, straight towards you from Telangana Today, Shiva Krishna, and also from Khel Now, Joseph Biswas had a question. What kind of research, Amit, went into making this film for you? What are the difficulties you faced in, unearthing some of the details about the game and even the legendary coach Syed Abdul Rahim?
Yeah, so a lot of the research has gone into this film. A lot of time has gone into writing this film because that could only happen if the research was done. So in the research, the great help was all the players, Mr. Balram, Mr. Chuni Goswami, Mr. P.K. Banerjee, Novi Kapadia Sahab, and his own son Hakim, Mr. Hakim. So we got a lot of information from all the players, even Mr. Franco. This was the team, except the Novi Kapadia Sahab, who has written the book on football. So we collected a lot of information from them. We spoke and we had a lot of good time, spending with them and knowing about Mr. Rahim and the football at that time. So a lot has gone, behind making this film, writing this film. So there are like small little things. At that time, there were no fouls. Fouls were there, but there was no substitute player playing. So these are the kind of things which is there on internet. But when you go and meet the players who actually played those matches and you speak about the time. I remember we went to meet Franco Saab in Goa, and he used to live in Goa, and we were talking to him, and I just asked him. I said, "Sir, what do you think when you guys won the gold medal? What was the feeling inside?" He said, "1 second, I will show you the feeling." And he went inside and he got the jacket of Indian football uniform. He got that, and he got the gold medal. And he said, "This is the most precious thing of my life. And I know how we won this whole tournament. But you know what? I'm giving you this gold medal and this jacket. You keep it with you. This is for Mr. Rahim." The kind of love these players had for him, has for him, and had for him was like amazing. I literally had tears in my eyes, and I said that, "No, sir, this is your achievement, so you keep it with you. I'll take some pictures and I will make those medals for my film." He said, "No. I'm done with this. You keep this medal. This is for Mr. Rahim." And so there was a small little thing where Franco used to sometimes abuse on the on the ground, and if he would use that word, he would say, sorry Rahim Saab. And now also, if he would use that word, he would look up in the sky and would say, "Sorry Rahim Saab, maaf kar dena." So that kind of respect, everybody, all the players, you talk to them about Mr. Rahim, they would have tears.
Amit, when you all went to Calcutta, when you met the host, whole lot of players out there, and you met several other players out there, PK, Chuni Goswami, even Balram, and finding Balram's house also was quite an interesting thing. But finding Balram's house also was a very interesting factor.
Yeah, actually, when we actually went to meet up with Balram sir, we got out of the cab because he was very close to the Hooghly River, and we didn't know where the house was, and we went to a chai ki tapri and we said, यहाँ पे बलराम का घर कहाँ पर है? And that tea vendor, he looked at me and he said, he gave me a very dirty look, and I was like, what the hell have I done? And he said, 2 times Olympian, श्री तुलसीदास बलराम जी का घर ढूंढना चाहते हैं आप. And I realized the mistake that I had made, and that is probably the first time which it just struck upon us that the people who we are talking about and who we are going to meet are not ordinary people at all. So I think that's, Boniji, that's what you were referring to, right?
Yes. And my apologies to all the football lovers that I took Shri Tulsiram Balramji's name as Balram. I think I should have taken his name with the same respect as the tea vendor took.
And he is from Hyderabad. He is actually he started with Hyderabad police.
I mean, even Mr. Arun Ghosh, when we went to meet him for the first time.
Akash, complete. When you went to his house, what was the sight in his house? He didn't have a mother.
Yeah. I mean, in his house, he was just basically, there was a particular printout which was there in his house, which he was living alone. And that printout said that in the event that I were to pass away, this is where my body should be donated. There were only medals, etc., which were during the reign of Rahim Saab that he had kept. And whenever that he would speak with us, and whenever that he would tell us about Rahim Saab, he would do like this. He would say the fact that whatever I am today, whatever I could achieve, I was right there in the gullies and I had no future. But Rahim Saab, found me. And he is the one who made me what I am. And the very fact that you all are making something on him is the reason why I'm meeting you all. So like Amit said, the kind of gratitude that these people had when you met up with them, it's something that really touched all of us in such a big way that we...
And Akash, you missed out. Akash. There was Joy, when you all went to his house, there were no other pictures in his house, no temple, no
nothing. There was no gods, goddesses, no murtis. Nothing. There was only Rahim Saab.
Rahim Saab's picture, sorry. Yeah, only Rahim Saab's picture.
When we met PK sir, he was on a wheelchair. Despite the moment we told him about Rahim Saab, he told us, you come and meet me as many times as you want to. And he had a paralysis, so he was not well. Despite that, he told us, come and meet me whenever. And Amit, remember when we went to Cal the third time, and the kind of time they were giving us, it's the doctors were standing by, yet they want to talk to us. It was amazing the way they all poured their heart out to us.
In fact, just to finish
off on this I told him that, I want to record your voice. Can you tell me more about Rahim Saab? So not only PK Banerjee, but Chuni Goswami, Franco, all these players,
Arun Ghosh.
Arun Ghosh, they spoke, and I interviewed them separately, one by one. But one thing common was they all had tears in their eyes when they started talking about him. They all had so much of love for him that they couldn't talk. They were choking. They said, give me 5 more minutes. I want to talk more about him. So that kind of research has gone into, because I really did not know, what I wanted to know, what kind of character he was. What was his unke haav bhaav kaise the, how he would talk to the players, even how he used to address the players, So even that kind of detailing of each and every, he had given some names to the players. It was just nicknames created by himself, for the players. Like to Mr. PK Banerjee, he used to call him Ustad, Ustad. So all these things, and that really stays with the players when they talk about their teacher was there 50 years back, and they still have that kind of love, gratitude for him. I think only an amazing man.
That reverence.
Exactly. वही आदमी छोड़ सकता है आपके पर वो इतना जिससे इतना ज़्यादा प्यार हो,
Yeah, I think that reverence is a key word, and I think that that legacy is being now carried forward as well by he would be the proudest man right now if he knew what Hyderabad FC are doing. Supplying youngsters aplenty to the Indian national team as well. Birthday boy Varun, back towards you. Obviously media questions coming in from the Hans India, Ramdas, and from Khel Now again, Joseph Biswas had a question about the purpose of this partnership. I know you're keeping tabs on the score. Hyderabad FC, in a valiant effort, have gone down 1-0 to Gokulam, Kerala in the Durand Cup, India's oldest football tournament, third oldest in the world. Commiserations on that, but I'm sure that what this partnership offers and what this team is offering on the pitch bodes well for the great future.
No, definitely. Again, just going back to the Durand Cup, I think we're firstly very proud that we have a team from Hyderabad, participating in the Durand Cup after ages. Again, we had a very young team, and the objective was, to really give the younger players an opportunity to sort of showcase their mettle. I think we won the first game, and we've gone down today, but we still have a fairly good chance to go through to the knockout stage. So hopefully we'll get the result we need on the 19th when we play the Army Red team. But again, this is a historic partnership, and the partnership with the Maidaan is sort of a natural fit for us. And through Maidaan, we want the world to know the generation of footballers the country produced in the 50s and 60s and the golden era of Indian football. The story of the story is also presented, by people who are committed to tell the real and unheard stories, and to bring the story of the legendary Rahim Saab to limelight. And we're really looking forward for the film to release firstly, and we've got some really interesting activations planned through this journey in the course of the next 8 to 12 months. And we're really excited to make this partnership a big success.
And how specifically will it focus on grassroots program, Varun, according to you? Or how can Maidaan help you to sort of, fast track that process?
As I said, what we've seen in the last year or so in Hyderabad is the participation levels are extremely high at the grassroots level. We have a lot of interest from schools. We've been interacting with a lot of academy schools in the last 12 months or so. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we've not been able to really implement too many of our grassroots activities on ground, but the interest levels are extremely high. And again, as kids, we always look up to icons, heroes in the particular sport. And I think through Maidaan, as we know, it's about the great Rahim Saab, and I think this could just be the inspirational story that every young footballer or a sportsman in the country needs. And I think the inspiration is what I feel will be really looked at by these youngsters. And again, as I said, our focus is on at the grassroots level. And the story itself will be inspiring to a lot of youngsters to take the sport to the next level.
Thanks, Varun. I'm sure Boniji will echo that sentiment. Boniji, there's a question from the Hans India gentleman called Ramdas again. He says, do you think Maidaan and the HFC Hyderabad Football Club partnership will create much interest among football lovers in the nation, according to you? And how do you plan to reach out to football fans in India through this film?
Well, the best way to reach out to them is to make a very good film, which we are attempting. And of course, the tie-up with the Hyderabad IFC is something which will, go down well with the local people and the other football players. That here is a tie-up which is talking of the glorious days of Indian football, talking of a coach who brought about a change in Indian football and all what he did for the Indian football. So this is something probably the tie-up probably will showcase all the good things done in this early 50s and 60s.
And Amit, one last question to you. It's also a question to Akash and Joy. I'll come to you guys as well in a bit. It comes from Shikha Dugal from Daily Pioneer, also from Abdul Qadri in the Munsif Daily. Amit, it says sports movies are really fascinating for the Indian audience. Can you share your experience of of making this movie with Ajay in particular, and why Ajay Devgan, according to you, was an apt choice, and how difficult was it to sort of direct a sports biopic keeping the factual information in mind?
I'll answer this in a way that if not Ajay Devgan, I don't see this film with anybody. So he's that apt for the film, and he's an amazing actor. The commitment what he's given for this film to this role, we'll see a different avatar of Mr. Devgan in this film. Sports films are very exciting to make, but it's a lot of work which has gone in this one, because football is a game which is ball is always moving on the move. So it's almost like shooting sports, like action sequences. So it's I've had a lot of fun to make while making this film. I'm still making it. I've still a few more days to go for the shoot, which we are starting now soon, and the excitement level of making this film, and it's a slightly different film for me also, because the kind of story, the reality, the realism in the film, which is very, very important. And to say it's a period film, and when you're telling a reality, you can't you can't take too many liberties. So keeping the reality in mind, and to show the reality is so that's the thing which I've really worked on, so that कुछ भी ऐसा झूठ ना हो फिल्म में जो हुआ नहीं है. So that's all I would say.
We have to wait for all good things in life, Amit, and we can't wait for this one to hit the theaters and the screens very, very, very soon. All the very best for the remaining part of the shoot schedule. We let you go.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
See you guys.
Amit. But
Bye-bye.
the same.
Arun, happy birthday.
Thank you.
See you. Bye. See you, Bhuvaneswar.
Excellent.
Bye.
Another-
Akash, bye, Joy. Bye.
Bye. See you.
The same question for you, Akash and Joy as well, from Shikha Duggal and Abdul Qadri, about why these sports movies are such a fascinating watch for Indian audience, particularly since the turn of the century, and why you thought somebody like Ajay Devgan would be an apt choice.
You see, let me narrate an incident to you. We were shooting in Kolkata, and Ajay sir had a huge problem with his leg. There was he couldn't even walk properly. And at one point of time, he said that, let's try and see whether we need a body double for a particular football playing sequence, which was very demanding. And we said, that's fine, etc. And he heard the sequence and he heard the story, and then he said, you know what, let me just try it. And with that particular bad leg of his at that point of time, which he was suffering from, he would go, he would shoot, he would come back after the shot. He would put his feet on the ice box, then put it straight, and go back to the shoot again. And never once did he tell Amit that I wouldn't do a retake or any of that particular thing. I mean, so when you are on the ground and you see somebody giving you that kind of a commitment, it just bolsters the entire crew, and it's not a small film. It's at times we've had, like in Kolkata, we had a huge number of people, close to 350 people on the set. And for each one of them to see that level of commitment is something which is truly inspirational for all of us.
Joy?
Yeah, but I think from a story perspective, a lot of times when you are doing true stories, be it sports biopic or any kind of true stories, we still take a bit of creative leap to make it like entertaining. This story actually, we have done no creative. It's actually a true. I mean, we have not done any creatively. Whatever the story is what we're going to say, because the story itself has so many highs and lows that it seems like if I don't tell you it's a true story, you will think it's a fiction. So there was no. When we came on to this story, there was no other thought in our mind. The only thought was, "Isko kaise bana? How do we make it?" So the story that way is like in itself is a ready-made story to make for a film, for a feature film, which we think we want to inspire because it's a very, very inspiring story.
No, and it's very interesting that the first person who recognized that was Mr. Boni Kapoor, and the minute that story was narrated to him, he said कि ये कहानी तो बनानी है and we'll make it together. And after that is when we went together to Z, and they loved it and they said that we'll love to present this particular film. But it's always very interesting when a senior partner, when a senior person who you really look up to, like Mr. Boni Kapoor, he hears a script and he must have heard thousands of stories across his illustrious career, and he just recognizes and says the fact, yeah, this is the story that I want to say, and let's go ahead and let's just do this. We figure out a way to do it, but let's go ahead and do it. So I think that's something that really inspires all of us to say stories like this.
That actually leads me very nicely into Siddharth Mishra's question from the bridge to you, Boniji. Just in terms of the importance of stories like these of Indian football and its past, and why it's important to tell them through its various ways, including in a film like Maidaan.
Well, basically, these are stories which have aspirational values. It triggered those kind of emotions in me when I heard it from Akash and Joy. I felt this would be the response of the viewers too when we get to show the film to them, and I got into it headlong. And luckily, I had strong support from Joy, Akash. Joy belongs to this city of football, Kolkata. At this point in time, Kolkata has got a lot of football followers, and he being part of the whole project with Akash was a great help. And I feel it is something that probably it was a challenge, of course, the kind of subject that it is, but challenges have always got to be accepted, and we all, the entire team, me, Akash, Joy, Amit, we all thought we'll catch the bull by the horn and give the audience the best. So we are giving a best shot. In fact, we've recreated a ground across 16 acres here in Bombay, trying to do all the games, fixing the stadiums of different eras, whether it's Melbourne Olympics, whether it's Helsinki Games, whether it's Jakarta Games. So all the effort, thanks to our Ajay Devgan, the hero of the film, who's really got into the skin of the character, and all this makes the entire project too exciting, and I feel the result is for all to see. We've seen about 70-80% of the film, which is complete, and we're all really pumped up to see that the film is completed as soon as possible and bring it on screen. And if we can help it, we probably would do it in 3D, we'd dub it in all languages across the country, so that every nook and corner of a country sees what the golden era of Indian football was and what Saeed Abdul Rahim meant for Indian football.
But just to add to Boniji, I mean, the kind of, and Amit also mentioned the writing, the kind of effort that Saivan and Ritesh have put into it. And Saivan has been there from really day one of the project, writing the story and the screenplay, etc. I mean, and Ritesh then, coming up with dialogues and the kind of value inputs that have come. I think both these gentlemen, when you actually see the film, you'll notice the fact that the kind of detailing and research that the writers have put in is tremendous. And all of this entire thing together is going to be what Maidaan is. And we just hope the fact that together with Hyderabad FC, we are able to propagate it to the level at which, Boniji also envisions it. So that's basically, I think, what we are hoping to get out of this entire journey now.
Let's go back to the corner of Hyderabad FC, and obviously Boniji mentioned the city of Kolkata, also known as the city of joy. Things might not have gone to plan today, Varun, at the Kalyani Stadium, but we've spoken in terms of what the fans can get from this film, from this collaboration. But how do you think footballers could receive a film like this, and what this collaboration could mean for some of the footballers who are plying their trade with your team?
I think this is like a very important movie and sort of a must watch for every sports fan, not just a football fan. But I think from a footballer's point of view, I think they will be awe-inspired. We all have been so moved by the story. And I'm sure through this movie, every footballer and football fans across the country will be inspired by the story of Rahim Saab, and also the non-footballing fans as well. So a very important movie, and we're all really looking forward to it. I think from our point of view, from Hyderabad FC, again, as I said previously, there is massive interest for football in the city of Hyderabad and the region, and I think people have started recognizing that if you have talent, there is a platform like Hyderabad FC, which will sort of provide youngsters an opportunity to perform, and if you're a talented player, you will get selected in the club's youth teams, and then you can graduate into the first team. So there is a realistic pathway for youngsters, and here at Hyderabad FC, we want to sort of create the right environment, and have the best coaches to work with the best talent in the city.
I'm sure that gives a lot of confidence, not just to the players, but also to Coach Shamil, who's been leading the young boys, the young guns in Kolkata as we speak over here. Another question.
Anand, can I just add to what Varun just said about the inspiration among the youngsters?
Sure.
I honestly believe that the 1982 Prudential the World Cup cricket that we won created this cricket as a religion today in India.
1983.
1986 World Cup winning, created this huge religion that cricket is today in India, right? Because of a story that people got to know, and they could follow, they could see that actually, even they give you a belief that even yes, we can do it. I think this story will tell them, yes, while there are others in the world. I mean, today India is not there, but there was a time when India actually was right up there with the world superpowers in football. And this will give them the belief that yes, we can get there today or maybe tomorrow.
Absolutely, man. They just have to watch a game in Kolkata, in Kerala, in Goa, in Northeast, or maybe even in Kolhapur in Maharashtra to just understand what football is all about. Apart from the Deccan region where Hyderabad is doing their bit. That question, by the way, Varun, was from Shikha Duggal of the Daily Pioneer. I'll come to Boniji next. There's a question from Raj Shekhar from Namaste Telangana, Boniji. It's about why do you think football lovers in the country and also Hyderabad FC fans will be looking forward to a film like this, and how you think maybe a team like Hyderabad could inspire that revolution that Joy just touched upon, that we saw with cricket in 1983.
Well, he rightly said, like 1983 inspired a whole generation of Indian sports lover to get into cricket. I am quite sure after watching this film, there will be a good number of people who will get back to play football, and I'm sure seeing the film, there are enough motivational moments in the film which will, kick this thing into the minds of the youngsters to get back to playing football. And football is one game which doesn't, it gets over in hour and a half. It's 90 minutes here and 90 minutes there. It's totally 90 minutes per game, 45 minutes. So this is a very fast game, and today everybody in the world wants quick. That is the reason T20 has come up. One day came up, T20 has come up. So obviously football also has got that kind of a speed, that kind of, the excitement level is there. So obviously this film showing the kind of players we had, showing the kind of grit the players had, showing the kind of knowledge and the kind of planning Saeed Abdul Rahim had for the Indian team at that point of time would trigger inspiration into the youngsters of the country. And we only hope that this inspires the entire nation to get back and play football just the way they got kicked up and inspired to play cricket big time after the 83 victory. So this could probably do what the 83 victory did to cricket. This could probably do to the youngsters motivate them to play football and get football to a level to match the glorious days of Indian football.
Can't agree more. I absolutely love the passion, Boniji. Every time you speak about it, it's almost like you want to get out there and tell the youth of this country, guys, there is another sport that exists apart from cricket, and it comes today straight from your son, I believe, right next to you all the time. No, this is great. Okay, time for final thoughts as well. And I remember this distinct scene from Jeet Ki Zid where Amit Saad is trying to drop to hold on to his crutches, Joy and Akash, and trying to climb back up. Indian football sort of finds itself in a very similar situation where We're trying to see it get back on its feet, get back to its glory days. Your final thoughts to everybody watching
Well,
this,
it's the same
this
team.
event.
It's the same team, Anand, who did Jeet Ki Zid, who's doing this film. So obviously, we'll have the same spirit. And
What a scene that was, by the way. The riveting scene that was. Yeah.
Well, there are many riveting moments in this film too.
Excellent. But Joy, Akash, your final thoughts to all the people watching this.
Let's just stick to Jeet Ki Zid. So you saw that it was a true story. You saw that Amit Saad finally did it, and finally, the actual person, Dipendra Singh Sengar, also did what was unthinkable. And we are basically just hoping the fact that this unthinkable feat that we hope that India and the youngsters will take for this particular sport will come from this movie, and what may or may not seem possible right now, we relive and come soon to and relive the golden years of Indian football, right the way that Rahim Saab had envisioned.
So I think, with the tie-up like this, we can create the Maidaan as a story can create the inspiration. And I think Hyderabad FC and all the ISL teams can give you the foundation to what inspiration that Maidaan can create to take it to reality. So I think that's what I'm looking at. After this, Hyderabad FC and the other ISL teams get flooded with youngsters who wants to take, India to the next level. And if that happens, I think that will be the biggest achievement that we can.
We will make that happen. We will make that happen, Joy.
I'm sure, sir. I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure, sir.
So you see, Anand, this is the kind of confidence and this is the kind of enthusiasm that Boniji gives to all of us, and that's been there from day one, and it's continued all through and through.
Excellent. I'm hoping that by the end of this event, Varun would have also converted him into a Hyderabad FC fan out and out. I know he can't convert Joy because his heart beats for East Bengal, but we'll be wishing East Bengal all the best as well, except in the game against Hyderabad, perhaps, Joy.
That's the only game. There'll be someone sitting with a yellow and red jersey in the Hyderabad camp.
Well, actually, that covers half our colors as well.
Boniji, any final words to all the people watching this ahead of what promises to be a really big partnership going forward?
Well, I hope this motivates the youngsters to get into to get into playing this game, which we probably left behind. Today, India is not in the first 100 where football team is concerned. So we sincerely hope that this film motivates the youngsters to get back to playing football and get India to the same glorious days.
And birthday boy Varun, I'll leave the stage to you before we say goodbye to everybody. Your final thoughts?
No, I think we're really looking forward towards this partnership. Movie for sure. We're waiting for the release, and really looking forward to actually watch. If an opportunity is there to watch how the crucial part of the film is being shot as well. But I would like to thank Boniji, Akash, Joy, Amit Nol for giving us this opportunity, and I think this will be a great partnership. And we spoke about that inspirational moment, and I'm sure this could be sort of a moment for Indian football as well, and that also puts a lot of responsibility on us, being a club representing Hyderabad. Again, I think it's going to be a great ISL season this year, and hopefully we'll better our performance from last season.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Now that we are together, I'm sure.
Thank you, Boniji.
There's so much certainty. There's such assuredness about everything that Boniji said, that Varun has said. Akash, Joy, thank you so much for your company as well. Amit, who joined us a little while ago, had to rush out, unfortunately. But I let Varun rush out as well to cut his multiple cakes that are waiting for him on his big day. But gentlemen, thank you so much for coming together. And of course, the coming together of Hyderabad FC and Maidaan is to ensure that the message of India's glorious past that we've all touched upon today reaches out to everyone, including the youth, and encourages the youth to pick up the sport and to continue the legacy that we've spoken about today. Thank you so much for your time this evening. We wish you all the very best for the remaining shoot schedule.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Anand.
Thanks, Anand.
And happy
Thank you
birthday,
so much.
Varun. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very happy birthday, Varun.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Happy birthday, guys.
Thank you.